In Chapter 1 of To Kill a Mockingbird, Scout, the narrator, opens the novel by recalling the events that lead up to her brother Jem breaking his arm. She starts by giving a brief backstory of her family history. A long line of Southerners, the Finches date back to an English fur trader named Simon Finch. After fleeing religious persecution in England, Simon settled on the banks of the Alabama River. With his 3 slaves, he established a cotton farm called Finch's Landing. Most Finches, including her father Atticus, grew up on Finch's Landing. Atticus was one of the first Finches to start a life outside of the farm, studying law and choosing to raise his family in Macomb, Alabama. Scout then takes us into present-day Macomb, where she lives with her widowed father Atticus, brother Jem, and the house cook Calpurnia. The story starts in the summertime, when 6-year-old Scout and 10-year-old Jem put on plays and run around near the house. Scout describes her neighborhood's geography, which includes the mysterious Radley place. The Radleys are a reclusive family that lived 3 doors down from the Finch home. One of the neighborhood legends centers on Arthur Boo Radley. Legend has it that many years ago, Boo fell into the wrong crowd. One evening, they got into enough trouble that Boo was sentenced to state school. Mr. Radley asked the judge if Boo could be released into his custody. When they left the courthouse, it was the last anyone saw of Boo for 15 years. One night, Mrs. Radley ran from the house screaming that Boo was trying to kill them. Apparently, Boo had stabbed Mr. Radley in the leg with a pair of scissors. The police were called and Boo was locked in the courthouse basement. Eventually, Boo was transitioned back home where he'd been in prison since. When Mr. Radley died, the other son, Nathan, returned from Florida, keeping Boo locked inside. Over the years, stories surrounding Boo and the Radleys grew more ridiculous, but Macomb residents were scared of the Radleys nonetheless. Scout and Jem's fascination with Boo becomes more intense when Charles Baker Harris, or Dill, comes to stay next door with his aunt, Rachel Haverford. He becomes instant friends with Scout and Jem, and they make plans to lure Boo out of the house. Chapter 1 builds a framework, introducing not only several characters and settings, but also the themes of class, race, and equality versus inequality. We learn the Finch family's position in society has its roots in slavery, although Scout demonstrates no awareness of race or class at this time. As a child, her sense of morality appears limited to simply good and evil. In her mind, Boo Radley is terrifying. She and the others are curious to see what evil looks like.